Good morning from Central Florida, where it's nice, sunny, and warm outside before the rain's going to hit probably this afternoon at 5 o'clock. This is Hanging with the Chads, and as always, I am Chad Springer, joined by the greatest tag team partner ever, Chad Boudreaux. Boudreaux, how the hell are you doing this morning?
Oh, it's a great morning, man. Great morning. Last night was fun. I can't wait to talk about it a little bit.
A
But
little
yeah,
bit.
man, it's a great morning. Great morning.
Hey, if you're not catching the drift, everybody, Money in the Bank was actually very surprising in the past 5 to 10 minutes, the last 5 to 10 minutes of the show. We're going to get into that in details today. Uh, you know, Great weekend. I was at work Friday and Saturday. We had a facility rental. I mean, it went okay. It went fine. It went over like always, whatever. But, I got paid to be there, so I'm okay with that. And, here we go. Boudreaux, I know you're ready. So you ready to get this thing started?
Absolutely, man. Let's go.
All right. Hey, we got some wonderful sports news today. We're going to start off with the NBA Finals. Halliburton said, "Hold my beer." The Pacers led for 3.1 seconds of the game, and that was because Halliburton hit the game-winning shot. Pacers are up 1-0. They're playing tonight in Game 2. I think this is going to be a very fun and exciting game, but it's also going to be a very interesting game when it goes the rest of the series here. I think if the Pacers pull it out, I think they could end it in Indy. So any thoughts on the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I mean the Pacers are playing the way the Pacers have been playing. They refuse to lose, and that's usually like the moniker of teams that are going to end up winning everything. It doesn't matter where they're at in each game. They always give themselves a shot at the end, and they hit the big shots when it matters. I mean, it's the same thing that even back when the Bulls were running shop, that's what they would do. They would go down, and all of a sudden they would come back, and it's a moniker for every championship team that
Mhm.
refuse to lose. There's always some part in the season that just so happens the Pacers are doing it and the conference finals and in the finals now where they go down big and it doesn't matter. They come back and fight and they hit the final shot and win it. So I I, I believe they're gonna pull it off. I'm with you. I think this game 2 is gonna be pivotal. If the Pacers pull it off and win, I hate to say it, but OKC, I don't know if you're gonna have a shot in this one.
Yeah, yeah, and speaking of shot, Lord Stanley's Cup is tied at 1 right now with the hopes of America resting on Florida's shoulders to keep Canada from winning a Stanley Cup. This is going to be a very interesting series for the rest of it. We're tied at 1. Again, I'm all in on Florida keeping Canada from getting another Stanley Cup. It's going to be 30 plus years now. So let's just hope the Panthers pull it out and then say Florida is the best hockey state in the world because I mean between Florida and Tampa, they're dominating. So any thoughts or ideas or suggestions on that?
Yeah, no, this is playing out the way I thought it would play out. This year's Stanley Cup final, I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I usually do watch a lot of playoff hockey just because it's
Yep.
always so exciting and like the Panthers are playing the way the Panthers play, but then the Oilers are out there doing what they want to do. So it's gonna be interesting to see the rest of the series. Like I said, it's the only time I really watch any hockey is because it does get real exciting and it shows right now just with the being tied 1-1.
Yep, absolutely. Hockey is a great time, especially during Lord Stanley's Cup. And speaking of Cup, the Steelers finally got a quarterback. It took 9 months. It feels like Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Steelers. We had our thoughts about it. We probably called this one about 4 months ago. Finally, it happened. I guess he didn't want to go to OTAs and all that crap, but uh, I just hope it works out for him. I really do. I just hope it works out for him, and I hope he's not the reason Mike Tomlin has his first ever losing season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there was a slight thought that he would go to New Orleans, but then he flat out said, "I'm not going to live in New Orleans," and that kind of rubbed everybody in New Orleans the wrong way. Which I mean, people that just don't who if you're not from New Orleans and a Saints fan, you don't understand what the team means to that city. It lives and dies by the city. Literally, when the Saints won the Super Bowl, it was the lowest crime rate ever in the history of that city. So that tells you right there how New Orleans feels about the Saints. Now, with him going, like we said, we called it. what was it, episode 1, 2, whatever episode it was
Yeah,
that we
one of them
called it,
episodes.
that he was going to the Steelers. It was the right choice for him. He's got everything to play for right there. He's got a great coach that's going to be behind him. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I hope it's not Tomlin's first losing season. But we'll see. Is Aaron going to put in the work to do what he does, or is he just sitting there just trying to get a couple more dollars so he can go down and to his little retreats? I don't know.
I think the contract was $13 million. So if he's wanting more money, he better come up with a Super Bowl ring for that fan base. But the Steelers fan base is always exciting. So I hope it works out for him. Not many people support or like Aaron Rodgers. I'm one of the few people that probably do not name Pat McAfee or Aaron Rodgers. But, at the end of the day, I hope it just works out for him. And speaking of working out, we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't shout out the Texas Longhorns softball team. They dominated Texas Tech to get to their first ever Women's College World Series championship. So shout out Texas and softball. Shout them out. They're a very, very good team. They play 50 some games just like the men do, and just dominated. They got their championship. So shout out, ladies. Shout out to the Texas Longhorns. We don't give you much love on this podcast, but by God, horns up for this one. Let me get the camera there. Any refurb or feedback there from an LSU fan? Happy to shout out to Texas.
No, I'm happy for him. I got a lot of Longhorn fans that are really good friends of mine. I'm glad to stay with the SEC. It was a little dicey there with Texas Tech. Yeah, I mean, softball is one of those sports, man, where I grew up as a baseball fan, baseball player. My wife is a softball player. Her dad's a longtime softball coach. I love watching it. It astounds me, and it happened with Texas, like where in baseball, I mean, I know it's all about motion and mechanics, but pitchers can only go for so long and they're done. Where you get one pitcher, and that's what Texas did. They had one pitcher, and she just dominated all 3 games pretty much. So you could throw 150 pitches and keep going in softball. I know it's a mechanics thing. It's weird to me where baseball you have to set up, especially with us getting into super regionals now, going into the College World Series in a week. That you have to have 3 dominant pitchers to do anything in baseball. And softball, you can have 1 and you're good. You'll make it through. So, but no, shout out to Texas. Great job, ladies. We'll see what happens next year. I know Oklahoma's going to want that rain back, so it's always that Texas Oklahoma thing where it's always fun to watch. So I mean, no slouch in any SEC team though. They dominate softball world.
Yeah, absolutely. The last stats I got to see, they were 56-12. That's a lot of softball they played this year. Shout out Reese Atwood with her 21 home runs and 89 RBIs. I mean, that's major league numbers right there, So at the end of the day, it was crazy. You're right. They had one very dominant pitcher. Tegan Cabin went 28-5 with a 2.16 ERA. She had 18 complete games. She had 4 saves. She pitched 207 innings, and in all of those innings, she only allowed a total of 82 runs, 64 were earned. And she had, I'm trying to find the number here, if I can find it. She probably had a lot of strikeouts. I just can't see it right now. I'm sorry, guys. But that's one very dominant pitcher right there, to say the least. Her opponents had a 217 batting average against her. So that's pretty much shut down lights out. So shout out Texas. And speaking of shouting out, UFC 216 last night. I'm very down that Sugar Shane did not win, but it's whatever. But we might have a dream match set up thanks to Kayla Harrison defeating Juliana Pena, who I love very much. I love her very much. Kayla Harrison, Olympian, PPF champion, Professional Fight League, champion. Now she's a UFC bantamweight champion, and she went and called out the GOAT last night, Amanda Nunes. I pray to all things Dana White, you make this freaking fight. And if you can, do it on a John Jones fight card so I can not have to pay $89.99 for 2 different pay-per-views. But Amanda Nunes, probably the greatest woman fighter in history, hopefully gets to go against Kayla Harrison. I think that's going to be one hell of a fight. So let's make it happen. So shout out Kayla Harrison for her submission victory last night over Juliana Pena to become the new women's champion in the UFC. We don't speak about the UFC much because I only like a few fighters. I respect all fighters. I only like a few fighters, but shout out to Kayla Harrison. She's one of the ones I like.
I love UFC, man. Like it was.
Yeah.
I remember we were during Tough One, man. I remember Tough One, and that's when it got hooked. I mean, I watched it before that. I watched the tent fights, as I like to call them. My uncle was really big into it, but no, I love UFC. Tough One. I remember getting a phone call. Hey man, turn it on. You got to watch this. So I watched it. I got hooked since then, and then of course that was all we did in Marine Corps, right? Every Saturday.
Yep.
There was a fight. So you went to somebody's house. You either paid for the fight or you paid for the beer. It didn't matter. And we all.
Or you illegally downloaded it.
Like, oh yeah, sure. Yes. But I think it's great. It's great for the women's division that Kayla wins it and that she calls out Amanda because that fight's gonna be unreal. Let's see those two go at it. Like you said, Amanda's the GOAT. But the GOATs always fall at some point. I mean, it's bound to happen.
Except John Jones. John Jones is still the GOAT. He has never failed except for a drug test.
Yeah, exactly. So except drug test, not. But no, like even like Spider fell off. He was so dominant back in the day, but he fell off. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. Dana White usually does respond well to when he knows what the fans want, and he usually puts it together. I see it gonna be he may put it with like a John Jones fight just so it could be like a just giant block. It might be one of those 3 title fight nights. And
that would be sick.
Because he's gonna definitely do something to make sure that it's worth it. Because he's gonna want all eyes because it just seems like that fight's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be another one to take the UFC to the next level if it can go to any other level. But yeah, like and even with Tough starting up right now, so maybe it'll be like kind of like the end of a Tough card kind of thing. Who knows? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you give me a John Jones fight with anybody, it doesn't matter if it's Aspinall again, Aspinall period. It doesn't matter if he's talking about calling out Francis. You put John Jones on it, you put Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison, you put a Bo Nickel fight on it, you put the Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler fight on it, and then some up and comer for that opening match of the main fight. I mean, oh my God, book it. I will buy that one. Literally ESPN plus it up right now. That would be a heck of a fight card. Let's do it Veterans Day weekend so I know that I don't have to worry about going to work. Make it in Orlando because I know you want to come to Orlando. I'll pay the $4,000 it takes to sit in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, no way. You can enjoy that one.
We'll do the show there, okay? We will do a live stream of our show there, by God. And but no, Dana White, if you're hearing me, book it. November the 8th in Orlando, Florida. Hanging with the Chads to be there, by God. We will be there. We won't pay $4,000. We'll pray that you give us a good military discount. Maybe some. We don't even want ringside seats. We don't want to be in the billionaires. You can put us in one of the suites at the Magic Arena. We'll be fine. We'll do our show there. We'll pay you a couple of $100 to let us do it. But you put that fight card together, we'll be there, big dog. Speaking of being there, last night, WWE Money in the Bank, you just had to be there. Before we get into the best part of the night, in which I'm going to let you speak on that, Boudreaux, Naomi wins the women's Money in the Bank, and Seth freaking Rollins wins the men's Money in the Bank. Of course, there were other matches. I think Worlds Collide went really well before. Good way to set up the night. Hey, your boy was there.
Lucha was there, man.
He was there. It was a great time for WWE and AAA to show their new branding and their new way of life. Dirty Dom was there. He ended up challenging Pentagon Jr. and ended up winning that match at Money in the Bank. Naomi, I don't know if it was the right call. I get it. Whatever. We're just going to see how how this goes. I could see them taking the bank off of her, but Seth freaking Rollins, he wants to win the Money in the Bank for all the power. He got it. There was a lot of shenanigans in that match. Solos, you just got your heart broken, and it's fine. You shouldn't have said what you said about the werewolf. When Solo was climbing that ladder and Jacob grabbed him by the foot and yelled, "Solo, I hate you," it was magical.
It was.
I'm telling you right now, you put the rocket on the back of Solo, or excuse me, the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, put the rocket on his back. He's going places, big dog. That's going to set up a good rivalry going into SummerSlam. But ladies and gentlemen, Boudreaux texted me when I was driving home, and I want you to tell the world what you told me last night, Boudreaux, exactly what you said. Here we go.
Our fucking truth. That's it. That's all I said, dude. Like I was so fired up sitting there watching. Like, so get to the other parts first. Like, yeah, the night itself was great. The women's ladder match was fantastic. Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't see the whole point of Naomi winning, but I mean, hey, they're doing everything right. So we just got to sit there and watch and see why this happens, right? Yeah. But it's going to be interesting. I know during the press conference last night that they were trying to put some flames behind Becky Lynch, Naomi, and I'm like, why would she waste the Money in the Bank on an Intercontinental? But who knows? That Becky Lynch fight was good. I thought you could tell like they hate each other. But
that basically means they have good chemistry.
Oh yeah, they have great. Yeah, they have great chemistry. And then the Dirty Dom fight, like that was like I know it was them trying to put the other guy over, but it wasn't that great of a match. I mean, there's a lot of high flying because of who they are, but it wasn't like your typical like, oh, this is something that I want to be glued to and watch. The men's Money in the Bank was badass like the whole way through. Like everybody, I think everyone knew that Seth freaking Rollins was going to win it just because of the storyline with the Paul Heyman behind him and everything else going around it. So everyone knew that was going to win, but just the way it got to that point was badass. Like every little skirmish that popped off was good. Having Jacob and them come out, protect Solo for a while, and then Jacob turning was badass. But then getting into that final match, like watching what happens, and we're just sitting there, and I'm watching. I'm like, I'm thinking like somebody's going to come out. Like I'm all thinking somebody's going to come out. I'm thinking it's going to be freaking Roman Reigns or something, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting there watching. I was waiting, like literally, I was waiting for, and then when they jump in, I'm sitting there looking at the wife. I'm like, who's that? Because you could see that it's a really dark skin on his back, and I'm like, no, dude, like that's not Roman. I don't know who that is. And then when he pops out, guaranteed the loudest pop in probably WWE history was that right there. Just because the fact is that we've been leading up to this point for the past week. R-Truth's gone. R-Truth's gone. R-Truth's gone. We were texting back and forth. I was texting my dad. I was texting my other friends. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? Why are we getting rid of one of the? He's such a great person to have in the company. And then when he takes the mask off, it was unreal. Like the pop that happened, like I leapt out of my seat. I was like, it's our fucking truth. Let's start texting everybody. Text my dad. My dad's like, I was just about to text you the same damn thing. And it was unreal, dude. And then watching the post game or the post match thing when Cody Rhodes flat out goes, like, our job is to give the people what they want. And you wanted truth, you got truth. So I think even though Triple H didn't want to say it last night in his press conference, that he listened to the fans and what they wanted, because he doesn't want to tell the fans that they have that much damn power over him. But I believe that because I believe he definitely got let go, even though it's saying it's part of the show. I believe he definitely got let go, like he was gone. And then the fans and even the talent were like, why are we letting go of R-Truth? And the fans wanted R-Truth back. Everybody, every Raw was that way. SmackDown was that way. The pre-show yesterday was that way. We want truth. We want truth. I think Triple H had to listen to that and brought him back. So
I'm on board with that. However, I just think it was. I think it's part of the storyline. I don't think he was let go. I think it was just part of the storyline because generally when they let people go, they let a lot of people go, not just one. Unless it's like, unless
they
they're
let
just
Carlitos
firing.
go too.
Yeah, what's Carlito doing? I mean, he's a bad apple anyway.
But he was part of a group, a faction.
He's part of Judgment Day, and I think they're killing Judgment Day anyway to make room for the club. I think you're going to see a too sweet reunion in the WWE in the very near future with certain outsiders from originally New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think that's where that's going to go. But R-Truth was very surprising. I will tell you that. So, needless to say, I do not think it will be R-Truth moving forward. I think it will be Ron Killings, the TNA version.
Yeah,
Forget Ron Killings was in TNA. He was an NWA World Champion in TNA. I think that's what we're going to see, especially with the now arrangement that TNA has with WWE, and which I think TNA has been secretly purchased by WWE, kind of like how ECW was back in the day. WWE is buying up everything. They're buying up AEW or the AAA. Yeah. So now AEW can't use AAA like they used to. AEW, they still get to use, New Japan, but WWE is probably making agreements with New Japan. So I think it's going to be very interesting this summer. I think it's going to be the summer of killings, not murder killings, but Ron Killings. And, that's going to be very interesting moving forward. I can't wait to see how it happens. I can't wait for our tribal chief to return and take back what rightfully is his. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. Before we go into this break, we're going to thank Oasis Health and Hydration for sponsoring this segment. For all you veterans out there that need help with your veterans claim, please reach out to Oasis Health and Hydration at Oasis Health and Hydration at gmail.com. Lindsay will be able to help you with your claim, help you, get what is rightfully entitled to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. We're going to get into our topic today, improvising, adapting, and overcome with athletic directors. Thank you for all your support, and we'll talk to you soon. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us this morning on Hanging with the Chads. If you're looking over my left shoulder, you're going to see some amazing turnover change. And we like to thank Mike's 3D Printing for that. Shout out Mike's 3D Printing. He's on TikTok now. So follow him. He makes all your custom needs, just like the Thor's hammer over there and right over Boudreaux's shoulder. And now we're going to get into our topic today. Our topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is adapt and overcome, the athletic director edition. Basically, in the Marine Corps, you say improvise, adapt, and overcome. Basically, what that means to anybody is if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You just have to figure out a way to get through it, okay? But as an athletic director, how do we do that? How do we just keep it moving on a busy day? You got homecoming football. You're out there painting the field, and all of a sudden your paint machine takes a crap. I know Boudreaux don't have to worry about that. He has that luxurious turf out there. But what happens when his scoreboard takes a crap? What happens when his speakers take a crap? Because I know down there at the corner of Pleasant Hill and Point Siena, both of those have happened. So what do we do? Boudreaux, you're getting ready for a big basketball game. Or we'll say, big basketball game in your gym. And all of a sudden, your speakers go out in the gym. How are you going to fix that? Well, what are you going to do? So let's talk about that. All right. Say, you're getting ready to play your biggest rival in basketball down there at the end of World Drive. You're getting everything set up. You go to turn your speakers on, go to turn your music on for your kids during pregame shoot around, and all of a sudden it's not working. What are you doing?
All right. So number one, don't react the way I react, because usually I feel like everyone breaks everything for me, so it doesn't work ever. But no. So we always have portable speakers. Like we
Yep.
have them stationed in the gym. Like we have 2 sets stationed in the gym just in case. And we just roll it out. No big deal when it comes to the speakers and sound system. The scoreboard, it's a different thing. I got to go through. I go through I turn everything off, turn it all back on. I start playing, because a lot of times what ends up happening is our little controller box. People feel the need to start pushing in numbers instead of just turning it on, hitting enter, letting it go. So usually that's the big problem. But if it doesn't work, I mean, you just get on the horn when people start calling, hey man, nothing's working. Try to get emergency out there. If they don't come in time, I mean, it is what it is. You tell the officials and you figure it out from there. Maybe it'll be a canceled game. If it's basketball, it's more likely going to be canceled, because they live and die off that scoreboard. Others, like outdoor sports, this has happened to me. And you brought up homecoming, because it was homecoming. I went out earlier in the day on homecoming night. It was my first year as AD. Turn everything on, see if it was working. Scoreboard wasn't working. And new AD, I'm freaking out. It's homecoming. I'm like, dude, what are we gonna do? Because again, like, it's not that big a deal. It doesn't have a scoreboard. We keep time on the field, no big deal. But it's homecoming, and I know we're gonna have a big crowd. It's my first homecoming as AD. Luckily, I got to rely on my military experience and working in communications and electronics technician, where I did a lot of soldering, things like that. So I was able to take the cover off of the control panel, and I saw that people like to spin that stupid antenna that's on there, and they popped the wire. So I was able to solder the wire back together, put it back together. Everything worked fine after that. So yeah, it's just the main thing is you got to keep calm. You can't like lose your shit, because if you start losing your
Yeah.
shit, and all of a sudden like you will not be able to solve any issues, because you're gonna be too chaotic in that moment. You got to be the calm one in that moment.
Yeah, you got to remain calm. That's the number one thing, ladies and gentlemen. You have to remain calm, because if you're freaking, you just know your coaches are already freaking out. Like, you don't need any more people freaking out, because if your coaches are freaking out, then your principal is probably going to be freaking out. Your principal's freaking out, then you already know what's about to happen. So the biggest thing is you got to remain calm. You got to understand, for lack of better words, shit happens. Just keep rolling with the punches. And so, I've had cases where my scoreboard went out, and it was something small and crazy. And I'll get into that. I've had instances where obviously my speakers went out at the gym and in the stadium. And shout out to TK down there at the old Eagle Landing area, about 3.5 miles away from, the corner of Pleasant Hill and Poinciana. She gave us some house speakers. I put them dang speakers in my windows in the press box, jumped them all together, put one little microphone to it, and that's how we had speakers for the past year and a half, almost 2 school years. But our scoreboard. So crazy thing is, I check my scoreboard every single month in the gym and at the stadium. I can't check my baseball and softball ones because they don't work. So we're slowly trying to get that fixed. So the stadium last August, the first day of actual fall practices last year, I went out, checked the scoreboard, turned it on, and this is all I heard. The horn had gotten stuck somehow. And now, Boudreaux, you've been over there at my school. You could hear that horn at the front entrance of the school. So, I killed the scoreboard, cut it off, called up a vendor. Vendor comes out. He cuts the horn off. He has to order a new horn. So he literally cuts the horn off, and he closes it up. And we have a game that Friday night, our kickoff classic. The scoreboard didn't come on at all. Why is it not on? All he did was cut the horn off. So I'm calling the guy up. He's like, oh, I don't know. I just took the horn off. Da da da. Second week, we got a school, brand new school from Orange County. Come down there, no scoreboard. Third week, we go on the road. He finally gets the horn to come back on the fourth week. He goes to install the new horn. And while he's up on the ladder installing it, I'm sitting on the golf cart observing. And he goes, hey, Chad. Yeah, what's up? You're about to kill me. Now, sir, if you say that, it could be true. He's like, I'm going to get off this ladder before I tell you. So this is what had happened. This gentleman, he cuts the horn off. So when you cut the horn, you got to do what? You got to cut the power to the scoreboard at the scoreboard, right? This fool forgot to cut the power back on when he left. So for 3 weeks, when I didn't have any scoreboard for football games, it's all because he didn't flip the switch back on. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm probably going to kill you. So I'm over here having to answer emails and questions. And, our community was very upset about that. And I'm like, I have nothing for you. I mean, for one, I'm all about electronics. That's what I did in the Marine Corps, but the school district can't pay me enough to get up there and do it. Sorry. It will take a lot for me to get shocked again.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can't pay employees. So I can't even be a vendor. Sorry. Can't do nothing about it. And I'm not going to break anything because I'm not going to be responsible for it. But yeah, so that right there, first, we have no speakers at a football stadium. We have no scoreboard at a football game. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, okay, I've been dealing with this for a year because now it's my second year. Just finished up my second year, going into my third. I'm like, guys, you didn't have half this last year. Last year, our scoreboard lagged. The clock on the box would say, 12 minutes, 18 seconds. On the scoreboard, it'll still say 20 minutes, 12 seconds. You know why? Because someone did what they did to your scoreboard. They start playing with the antenna.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the antenna off. It's not going to connect to work. I'm like, so I literally have notes on the scoreboard. Don't touch this. Don't do that. Like, improvising, adapting, and overcome. That's just scoreboards and speakers.
Yeah.
What happens when referees don't show up?
Yeah, we've had that happen. And it like literally like because everyone blames you right at the beginning. Why you didn't get the officials? Oh, hold on. Look,
Easy,
here it says it right here. It says right here. Here's the email number 1. Here's
arbiter.
Here's arbiter that tells you that they were supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So no, that happens, and it's literally like making sure that you have the numbers to the people you got to contact. Yep. Like, hey man, like what's up with this? Like we have it, and it doesn't really happen that much for like your varsity games. Varsity games are usually there for, and especially where we both get here in Central Florida, trying to get officials to games. If they don't leave early enough, they're not getting there with the traffic, the way things work. So usually it's especially your like your freshman games are the ones that really suffer the most. And sometimes what you do is you just say, hey, like if you coaches are cool with it, just throw in a couple guys out there and just ref and just so y'all get a game in, no big deal. And then officials come in and take care of the rest of it. But yeah, no, like it's usually not that big a deal. With officials though, it's like as long as you had your ducks in a row, then there's nothing you can do about it, and it's at the mercy of the officials. So again, it's just you got to stay calm when people call you and ask you, because most of the time, like I'm not like you, I'm lucky enough to where I don't have to be at every home game anymore. So usually it's a phone call I get, and being where I live, I don't have service, so I got to go outside and all that stuff. So it's a big process there. But
what's up with that area? That you're not the only one that had horrible service out in that area that I know. Okay, that's Yeah, they need to put the cell phone tower they're working on at my school over in your area. That's what
They're
need.
supposedly putting one up, but I'm just waiting for it, man. Like, yeah, but no, it's you get the phone call and they're like, "Hey, man, officials ain't here." So then you just start calling people, "Hey, look, we had officials. What are we doing?" And then you just try to come up with ways to at least keep everyone entertained until the officials get there. Whether it's, hey, we'll give you like everyone gets something free out of the concession stand, or you just
Concession
have
stand.
like,
What's that? Y'all got those?
yeah, okay, hey, don't bring up concession. I'm a bad. I brought up concession stands. We don't want to talk about concession stands. No, it's just, but you got to keep people entertained. So sometimes you'll do like some kind of, I don't know, you just throw out things so fans don't get irritated, because that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
The coaches, they all understand. The kids will understand. The opposing team usually understands. It'll be the parents that are like, "Wow, we're starting so late." Like when I'm there, if I'm at the game, it's like, guys, just we're waiting on officials. And you can watch them start getting agitated in the crowd, and you're like, "All right, what I got to do?" So you just come up with ways.
Yeah. So to CYA athletic director Springer, in those situations, when I send the assigners schedules, like our finalized schedule, I put my coaches on that email, and I put my AP over athletics on that email. So there is no questions about it. And anytime we have game changes, I call the assigner, and I also follow up with email, so everybody's on the same page. Now, if it's a last minute thing, I get it. Like if my officials ain't there, I have all the assigners' numbers, so I'll call them up. Hey, blah blah blah. We don't have soccer officials tonight. What's going on? And they'll say, "Oh, they're sitting in traffic," or "Yeah, you're only going to have one to start because the other one's 4 hours away." I get it. Just communicate, because that's why every year I will send the assigner. When I send the assigner the email, on that same email, I put, "This is how you get into the school. This is where you go. This is my telephone number. Please give it to all your referees that you assign so they can contact me." Do they do it? No, because the referees would be sitting at the back gate, and we don't use the back gate no more. So I'm just whatever. But you're right. We got to stay calm in those situations. If we don't stay calm, then it's just going to get out of hand, and parents already rowdy up already. When it comes to that, you got a 5 o'clock game where the school, 2 minutes away, but the referees don't get there until 7. I mean, you're out there for 2 hours. I mean, we could already play the damn game and then another game sometimes, based on the, whatever the score might be. So just remain calm is the big thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not remaining calm, and that goes for everything. That's the bus doesn't show up. When I get buses, whether it's in district school buses or if it's charter buses, my coaches are aware of what's going on, so they can't be like, "Oh, you didn't tell us." I'm like, "No, bro." You clearly see that they confirmed us on the email. If they're late, that's on them. And again, if I'm going on an away game that makes me get a bus, I'm communicating with the other athletic director and be like, "Hey, I'm getting a bus. Obviously we know traffic leaving our area is not ideal. Please work with us." Most of the ADs, they really do, especially if I got to go on a district tournament game and I got to go down to like Hardy, which is like 2.5 hours away. Like that's ridiculous, but whatever. It is what it is. But the main thing is for all these cases, you remain calm. Marine Corps, obviously, they want you to remain calm, but it really didn't happen that much because it's such a stressful environment. I would like to think being an athletic director is not as stressful as being deployed or training, but I mean, it still has its stressors, during the day. So you hit the nail on the head. All we got to do is just remain calm. And, as long as we remain calm, we got our ducks in a row, everything's going to work itself out. I tell everybody, I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, this is high school sports. This ain't professional. We're dealing with people that are working, day jobs. Just be cool, be courteous, and we'll get it done. And speaking of getting done, we're going to take a quick break right now. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us this morning, and we appreciate Mike's 3D printing for all the amazing 3D prints that you've done, whether it be our turnover chains, whether it be our Thor's hammer, whether it be our amazing coasters. We appreciate you, Mike. We appreciate your support. When we come back, we're going to have a little bit of fun to end the show. We're going to all-time NBA Finals draft, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chad Springer. This is Chad Boudreaux. We appreciate you hanging out with the Chads this morning. We appreciate all your support. We appreciate all your love. And we're going to be right back after this quick break. Again, thank you, Mike's 3D Printing. We'll be right back. Hey, good morning. We're back. This is Chad Springer. I'm joined by the greatest tag team partner in history, Chad Boudreaux, and this is Hanging with the Chads, and we're about to get into our final segment, ladies and gentlemen. This, we always got to have a little bit of fun at the end. So right now, we're going to draft our all-time NBA Finals player draft. We're going to have 5 position players and a 6-man. Doesn't matter what position. You're going to draft 5 players and a 6-man. The only caveat to this is they must have won an NBA Finals. You understand the rules, Boudreaux?
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And, as always, I'm going to let you go first. I have a feeling I know who your number 1 pick is going to be. So I know who my number 1 pick is going to be. Boudreaux, go ahead and start.
Yeah, give me Jordan.
I knew it was going to be Jordan, so that's fine. I see your Jordan, and I raise you a Kobe.
Sweet. All right. Let's go Shaq.
Oh, you went Shaq. All right. Okay, cool. That's not a bad pick, but I'm going to go a little crazy on this one, and I'm going to go LeBron James. So I got Kobe and LeBron. Who's going to be your 3rd pick?
Steph, bud.
Ooh, Curry. Okay, that's not a bad one. It's not a bad one, but I'm going to go with my 3rd pick because I got to stop Shaq somehow. I'm going to go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go Duncan.
Look at you. You're going Timmy D. That's not a bad pick, actually. I'm going Magic. I'm going to take Magic Johnson. Who's your 4th pick?
So I'm going against, trying to pick between the 2 rivals, man. I'm going to go way back, dude. Give me Kareem.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. And, my next pick, I'm going to, again, I got, it should be my last pick, right?
Yeah, we're on number 5.
Pick.
And then we got the 6-man.
Give me Larry Bird.
That's where I was going. Give
me Larry Bird. I got Magic and Larry in the same backcourt.
I know.
Or front court. I went all big. I didn't even draft a Drew Point. And who's your 6-man coming off the bench?
Dude. Oh man. Oh. I don't know, dude. This one's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Kukoc.
Ooh, that was interesting, and I'm gonna go with my 6-man, the logo himself, Jerry West. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember, this is our draft. We're not ranking anyone, but we want you to tell us who has a better draft. Is it?
They're both terrible. You might as well just say they're both terrible. They're both terrible.
Hey, look, I got Kobe, I got LeBron, I got Hakeem. I got a pretty good, solid lineup right there, okay? You got Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I got Jordan. So, yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, you got Jordan. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And this is our draft by God, and this is what we're going to do. But Boudreaux, there's a little fun today, improvising, adapt, and overcome on this lovely morning. We like to thank, Mike's 3D Printing, Oasis Health and Hydration. And of course, we got to shout out our little team we got over here, the St. Augustine Strikeouts. They're not playing this weekend, but we got to shout them out, ladies and gentlemen. We got some gear up on our shop. Please go out and purchase this gear. We're going to have some gear we're actually going to be wearing next week as soon as the order gets in. So you'll be able to see what it looks like. And Boudreaux, how are we going to end the show today?
Like we always do, man. Get better.
Get better. 1% better today means you're 1% better tomorrow, which means you get 1% better every day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chad Springer. This is Chad Boudreaux. As always, we appreciate your love, your support, and thank you for hanging with the Chads. Have a wonderful day. Until next time.